politics. What's your biggest regret? We'll begin with you, Mr. Blake.
Well, right now it's dealing with the Campaign Finance Board, who is illegally not having me on the second stage, where they have now admitted in writing 4 times that they made incorrect determinations on my matching funds. And if you go to our website, you're going to see we challenge that.
Is that a regret of something? Your regret in this? Or?
Well, my regret is that I've been trying to have patience with the Campaign Finance Board.
Okay, Mr. Blake, thank you. Mr. Mamdani, biggest regret in your years in politics?
You know, as a Democrat, one of my regrets is having trusted the leaders within our own party, leaders like Andrew Cuomo. Because what we've seen is that kind of leadership has delivered us to this point where we are under attack by an affordability crisis on the inside and a Trump administration on the outside. And Democrats are tired of being told by leaders from the past that we should continue to simply wait our turn. We should continue to simply trust when we know that's the very leadership that got us to this point. We need to turn the page for new leadership to take us out.
Mr. Tilson?
Yeah, my biggest regret is that I didn't see Joe Biden's decline and call for him to resign earlier. It wasn't until after the debate that I became one of the loudest voices publicly, nationally, calling on him to step aside. But unfortunately, by then it was too late, and we handed Donald Trump the presidency.
Mr. Cuomo, your regrets in all the years you've spent in politics?
That the Democratic Party got to a point that we allowed Mr. Trump to be elected, that we've gotten to a point where rhetoric has no connection with reality, where a person who has served in government for several years, only passed 3 bills, believes they have the experience and credentials to run the greatest city on the earth. And the Democratic Party seems okay with that.
Mr. Cuomo, this question was about your personal regret in your years in politics.
I said I regret the state of the Democratic Party is that we elected Trump.
Not the 15th.
No regrets when it comes to cutting Medicaid or health care. No regrets when it comes to cutting child care. No regrets when it comes to slow walking PPE and vaccinations in the season of COVID to black and brown communities. Really? No regrets. No regrets.
We have to protect Medicare for our city's retirees.
Okay, we want everyone to be able to respond. Okay, we want to respond to this, Mr. Cuomo. You only have a few seconds.
Yeah, but
no, I understand, but
it's not. It is just not accurate. Medicaid went up under me. I led the nation under COVID. Okay. I pushed President Trump to give us everything he had.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Right.
I was there every day.
You expressed it.
Leading COVID.
Okay.
No regrets.
I have to ask him something. Mr. Cuomo, I'm sorry. I'm sure that people at home must be wondering about your answer to this question, because we speak to voters throughout the city, and quite a few of them will say, I'm not sure exactly what happened with those sexual harassment cases. We know that you say you never sexually harassed anybody. You say you're running to restore efficient government and efficient leadership. But in the past, your leadership came with what more than one investigation concluded was a toxic work environment, especially for women. And some of those cases are still ongoing. So I just want to ask you, since we're talking about regrets, you have apologized to some of those women back when you were still governor. What do you say to voters now, looking ahead to your potential mayoralty? Are you doing anything differently? And why should they believe that that same situation won't happen again?
Yeah, Melissa, let's just make sure we have the facts. A report was done 4 years ago making certain allegations. I said at the time that it was political and it was false. 5 district attorneys, Democratic, Republican, short, tall, looked at it all across the state, found absolutely nothing. 1 case has been resolved. I was dropped from that case. I said at the time that if I offended anyone, it was unintentional, but I apologize, and I say that today.
There was also a Justice Department investigation, but we'll move on because we're out of time.
We detoured there because of the issue raised, but we also want everyone to respond. Mr. Murray, biggest regret in politics?
I regret not having secured more funding for after school earlier in my career, but I want to turn to Andrew because during—
These are short answers, Mr. Murray, on your regrets.
I have 30 seconds, correct?
Yes.
When I was in the ICU during COVID, writing legislation to protect my community, you were the most powerful person in this state, and you were in the governor's mansion taking a $5 million deal. Do you regret taking the $5 million, and will you give it back?
Yeah. First of all, that's not true.
What part?
I stood up every day and fought for this state, for COVID, against President Trump. for PPE, for masks. I was in emergency rooms.
I was in a hospital.
All right, gentlemen, I need
May I
nurses
finish?
were wearing
Gentlemen, I
garbage
understand.
bags for PPE.
Yes.
Do you regret taking
We're going to we're going to pick up. It's
we
the
were
way,
doing everything
Mr. Cuomo,
we could every day to get
Mr. Cuomo, people aren't going to hear you if you. We are going to finish this.
Take a break.
We have a break right now that we have to take. We will pick up with the issue. I assure you. We're just about at the 1 hour break. We're going to continue this online. Channel 4 goes to regular programming, but wherever you stream News 4 New York, continue watching us. We will be right back with more of this discussion. Welcome back to the second hour of the first Democratic primary debate for New York City Mayor. Once again, I'm joined by my colleague, News 4 Government Affairs reporter Melissa Russo, also Sally Goldenberg, who's senior New York editor for Politico, and Telemundo 47 anchor Rosarina Breton. We are streaming live on NBC New York and Telemundo 47 digital platforms, Politico.com, Telexitos, and we're also live on YouTube. So, candidates, with all of us on stage, so many, we wanted to give a chance for voters to hear as much as they can, but we also have to try and get all the production things done, too. We are going to pick up with Mr. Cuomo, given a chance to respond to what Mr. Myrie said, and then we resume with Ms. Ramos and Mr. Lander and Ms. Adams to talk about their biggest regret in politics. So, Mr. Cuomo, just a brief answer here.
Briefly, we led the way under COVID. Every day I got on that TV, I informed New Yorkers of exactly what was going on and all the facts, and I was fighting President Trump for the COVID, for the PPE. There was no doubt that in the beginning there was no PPE and people were using garbage bags. But we fought vehemently for it. When the first phase had passed New York, we actually got through the first phase. It was then going to other states, and that's when we were trying to share lessons.
What happened to city field vaccines?
All right, we're going to continue on, and you may have a chance. Ms. Ramos, biggest regret in your years in politics?
We had the vaccines. You used a vendetta against the former mayor, not to make it happen.
So I regret not running for mayor in 2021. I had been in the Senate for 2 years. I'd already passed over a dozen bills. I thought I needed more experience, but turns out you just need to make good videos.
Mr. Lander.
I was the champion for the Gowanus rezoning, which is producing 8,000 homes in my district. But I'll be honest, I wish I had pushed for even more housing in my district when I was a city council member, because we need it. But let's be clear, sexually harassed 13 women, marked up that state health department report to undercount nursing home deaths, has now forced taxpayers to spend $60 million on his legal bills, has learned absolutely nothing, taken no responsibility.
Okay, Mr. Lander, thank you.
David,
he does not deserve your trust.
You can't let him say
that. Briefly, please.
Yeah. The report was done, 5 DAs, nothing has come of it. In terms of the paying legal fees, yes, the state pays legal fees. The state was sued. Kathy Hochul was sued, and I was sued. And the comptroller knows that because he was sued 15 times, and the city paid the bill. He was sued by parents of the disabled. He was sued by homeless providers who said he was he didn't do anything about the safety conditions. He was sued by people who said he mismanaged the pension
thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Lander, you have 15 seconds just respond.
It's just every one of those things is false. The thing about my wife was sourced from Twitter. Honestly, I have no idea where he got this one. He's lied to you so many times on this stage tonight, takes no responsibility.
All right, we're going to move on. Miss Adams, if you could speak to your biggest regret. Thank you. Ms. Adams, your biggest regret in your years in politics?
Well, obviously, my biggest regret is believing that Eric Adams would be a good mayor for all New Yorkers. I have had to restore budget cuts from this mayor. I've had to save pre-K. I've had to save 3K. I've had to save our libraries. I've had to save our cultural institutions because the mayor of the city of New York thought that it was his job to cut all of those and to slice and dice the livelihoods of our children, cultural institution, our elders, our seniors through their library services and their food services as well. I have had to be the champion to make sure that all of those services were restored for the people of the city.
Mr. Stringer.
I've thought about this question through my career, and I would say that the biggest regret from a policy perspective was when my mom died of COVID before her time, and she was a great trailblazer, the first woman elected city council in Washington Heights back in the day. She was a real fighter, but she lost the fight with COVID. I really wish, before I left the comptroller's office, that like with so many other issues, I really was able to really build a COVID recovery plan for the
Thank
city.
you, Mr.
And I just
Stringer.
ran out of time.